Hey guys, Czar here. Good morning to you. Hope all is well. Trust you're having a good week so far. It is Wednesday, hump day, March 12th. Here's the daily frame, guys, coming into the session. NASDAQ, S&P, and Dow. What you will notice here is that 2 out of 3 are up days. In other words, we've had a break of yesterday's high here on the CPI announcement this morning at 8:30. It is now almost 9:30. And we have pulled back, of course, into the range, barely into the range of yesterday on the NASDAQ, and we have an inside day on the Dow. So moving into my trading grid, guys, there's that up day daily chart, 30-minute chart, 1-minute chart on the right-hand side. Let's take a look at the 30-minute, shall we? You can see, as many of you know, if you've been trading this thing, this whole series of, these are days, by the way, 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, with the 3 stripes: impulse, corrective, impulse, corrective, impulse, corrective, impulse, corrective, impulse, corrective. Now it remains to be seen what happens from here on the open. This, by the way, guys, you can see is a Fibonacci retracement, more or less, here into a kill zone of between 50 and 618, really tagging and just penetrating the 618 if measured from 2 days ago in the Asian session high. Some would measure from up here, and I'm good with that too, into the kill zone of 50 to 618. Nothing really changes when we do that, right? This is all conceptual stuff. It's about taking off a piece of the move, and that's really all this is about. There's nothing precise about Fibonacci retracements and zones. Although we can get some pretty good ideas sometimes just because of proportion. I think what's more critical and what's more important here, guys, is the fact that we are tapping this area here. Again, that doesn't necessarily mean the very bottom of that wick. It's this area, maybe those 2 candles, for instance, right? And getting right in there. And we've done that as well. So you can stack the fib retracement with this idea, the fact that we have pulled back in a bearish move, very bearish move, and then come up with some ideas as to things to look for here on the open. I'm not suggesting that I would only take shorts in through here. In fact, we have an update. We have a bullish body, right? And we have broken and closed into a clean traffic range here on the 30-minute chart. That, of course, is second last pre-market candle. The new first candle, 30-minute candle, will start in 45 seconds. And then we will have this strong closing candle, which was the CPI news. We have an inside candle, and that's not going to change here in the next 30 seconds. And then the next candle, of course, will be the open of New York. And that little sequence I just explained is actually quite important. And hopefully you'll figure out here why as we move along in this little story. I'm going to wait for the first 1-minute candle to form here, guys, and I'll bring you back. All right, guys, we are open now. First 1-minute candle is done. Take a look at the amplitude of that. I like to do that, guys. 47 points on the NASDAQ and a little 9.75 on the S&P. Looking like we're pushing up here on the open for now. So we have an update here, guys, on the daily and a bullish body. We have closed into a clean traffic range and pulled back, retracing in through here in the pre-market, right? Scooping up, 9 above 21 here for now. This to me is something that's very important, is the ultimate high here on the CPI celebration. High of the bodies too will matter to me. I likely would not take a long below that area, and I would need to see the right stuff above that area. And there it goes. And there we go, guys, selling down now. See that there? Rejecting at that area. No, nothing to do here, guys, just grinding around. You can see this. So in short, guys, I really want to see the S&P participating here on the upside. In other words, breaking that prior high for me to even consider a long here on the NASDAQ, especially going into this. think it pays to watch both of these today, guys, because if there's going to be a turnaround in this bearish move, we really need to see it happen on the broad market. And that includes the 500 stocks that are in the S&P. So maybe this should be our focus, or my focus here this morning. We'll stay here for a bit. And driving down below here, guys. Nothing for me to do here. Now what I will do here, guys, on the 30-minute chart, you see this here? I'm going to revise this zone higher. You see how we're faltering here with these two rejection wicks? So I'm going to revise this higher. This is my new zone. This zone has now become this zone, right? The equivalent, because we're struggling here for now. If we break above, I want to see it break above that marker anyway, right? So that becomes the new milestone that I'm looking for. S&P, NASDAQ, of course inside the open range, S&P just below, and just below VWAP, really on VWAP. We're above VWAP on the NASDAQ. And so this is a mixed picture here, guys, but sure looking like this thing might want to go a little bit lower here. This is just a marker, guys, just doing some measuring. Just doing some measuring, that's all. Stop above that bullish candle that closed above the open range before starting to resume downwards. All right, sell stop order, guys. Sell stop order here. And I am in, guys. I am in just like that. Short the NASDAQ, first trade of the day at 9:48 a.m. Going to delete these arrows now, keep things nice and clean, and now it's the waiting game. Why am I short here, guys? Well, hopefully it's fairly self-explanatory. We do have an up day, guys, but in a very bearish corrective move. This stock market is in a correction right across the board. And so we have penetrated on the CPI news. We never got beyond that again. So there was a big news spike, a big celebration, right? That was there. That was the spike that had us break yesterday's high. And it was only this piece you see right here. See my cursor over there on the daily? It's right here, just that piece there. We tried to get it back above it, failed. 1-2, micro double top, breaking down below. Breaking structure here, but inside the open range, no interest there for me. Shifting down below, breaking the low of the session, and going short. No matter what happens here, guys, this is a trade I would take 7 days a week if the market was open. And now it's up to the market. It can do whatever it wants to do. Price action is largely random, and that means uncertain or unknown. We're simply tossing coins. This coin is weighted to heads, but it can still fairly easily land on tails, and that will be a routine business expense, just a 1 hour charge, and I move on to the next one. Pretty simple stuff, guys. And target 1 has been hit, guys, and so the 1 hour all or nothing trader has left the game with full profits, and the 2 hour move stop to break even at 1 hour has moved their stop to break even like that because we hit 1 hour. So now it remains to be seen what happens with the 150 and the 2 hour all or nothing traders. And target 2 has been hit, guys, so the 1.5 hour all or nothing trader has left the game with full profits. Looking for one more push here, guys. And there it is. So all 3 targets have been hit, guys, and no losing models today. I think you can see what we're doing here, right? Flipping back into the daily range, driving down on the 30, putting in a new zone revision here, 2 rejection wicks below open range, negative moving average configuration, all in line with the flow of the tide, right? Which is still down despite that momentary spike to break yesterday's high that only happened on the 8:30 news for about 3 or 4 seconds. Have an amazing day, guys. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you.